Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Today, the mailbag here on the weekend, where I get to answer your questions on the Pittsburgh Steelers after the conclusion of the 2025 NFL Draft. So can't wait to see what you guys got for me today. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button to join the most interactive Steelers community anywhere on YouTube. We try to create the most interactive kind of group of Steelers fans anywhere here on YouTube. We put out daily community posts on there and polls for you guys to vote on. Also, you get your voice heard in the comments section on every single one of the videos that we make here. And then we also go live twice a week, Monday and Thursday, for you to have your voice heard in the community that we have here at Steelers Talk. So if you want to join the largest interactive Steelers YouTube community anywhere on this platform, we got over 84,000 subscribers already joined our family. So make sure you click that subscribe button and help us get to 85K. All right, so let's start with my man Justin Yankuski, who says, if Rodgers doesn't sign, would he be the greatest supervillain of all time? Yes, he would. I would hate him forever if he did this, because obviously what he's been telling the Steelers has made them think he's definitely coming. All right, not only did they not get a different quarterback in free agency, not only did they pretty much say no to both Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, but they also didn't draft a quarterback until round 6. So he better be coming, because if he's not, Omar Khan, Mike Tomlin, you guys are officially on the hot seat, because this would be the Brandon Ayuk situation on steroids if he doesn't come to the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point. $5 from Charmander and Froki says, I hope Rodgers does sign, because if he doesn't, we get Mason Rudolph as the starter. Yeah, man, and we put a poll on this channel this week where I asked between Rodgers, Cousins, Rudolph, and Howard, who do you want as the week 1 starter? Like 60% said Rudolph and Howard. And it's like, I love Rudy. He's a Steelers legend for life for what he did in 2023, but he played against some of the worst defenses in football to finish out that regular season, then played really, really not that great in the playoff game when it mattered most. And Will Howard's a round 6 rookie, all right? And Rudolph did not play well last year in Tennessee. So Rudolph, in my opinion, is a backup, and that's perfectly fine. As a spot starter, if Rodgers gets hurt for a couple of games, Rudolph is more than capable of coming in and being competitive and winning some games. But as a full-time starter for 17 games in a schedule, I mean, the most you're going to win is 9-10 games, a wild card game, and you lose in the first round. Like, isn't that what we're trying to get away from here? I'd rather take a high-risk, high-reward type of guy like Rodgers than somebody that at his best is 9 or 10 wins and you have another mediocre season. That's just me, though. Then we get $5 from Chris. It says, Jack and Coop, I love the Steelers draft. We filled our needs except for left tackle since I don't trust Jones. We can draft our franchise quarterback next year. And that's what it sounds like the Steelers want to do. And I like that plan. And who knows, maybe Will Howard, who has some nice traits, is going to do some good things in practice this year and learn from Aaron Rodgers and learn from Mason Rudolph. That's more than possible to me. But I think that the Steelers, who are trying to win these next 2 years before Cam Hayward retires, I think that they're going about it the right way. I think Aaron Rodgers gives them the best chance to win now. I think Will Howard's got some traits that the team can bet on and try to develop. And Mason Rudolph's a really good backup. So honestly, the Steelers get really crapped on for the way that they have handled the quarterback situation. And don't get me wrong, if you don't get Rodgers, you're in a tough spot. But if Rodgers does come here and he plays well, I mean, all this drama, nobody's going to be talking about it this time next offseason. So let me know, in 2026, so next season, so 2 seasons from now, not next season, who is the Steelers starting quarterback? Do you think Aaron Rodgers will come back for a second year in Pittsburgh after a successful first year? Do you think it'll be Will Howard after impressing the Steelers coaches enough? Do you think they're going to draft a quarterback like Drew Aller in the 2026 NFL draft? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Who is the Steelers starting quarterback in 2026? This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time. But let me know who the Steelers starting quarterback is going to be week 1 of the 2026 campaign. And we got one from Steelers Dad, my dog, says, who will be RB1 on week 1? I think it's going to be like a 1A, 1B kind of situation, Steelers Dad, because Caleb Johnson is like the true kind of Najee type of figure here, where he's the bigger type of running back. By the way, that is not Caleb Johnson. That is Kenneth Gainwell. We didn't switch out the photo there. But Caleb Johnson, Jaylen Warren, I expect to get kind of similar workloads. They like Jaylen a lot, and he is the veteran in this group. But Caleb has got that big body like Najee, but he's got terrific vision and ability to find those open spaces and outside zone that Najee Harris never really had. He has the explosive play ability and, frankly, downfield speed that Najee never had. I mean, get this, Coop. Caleb Johnson was clocked at 22 or more miles per hour multiple times at Iowa last year. When this guy gets rolling, he's impossible to bring down, all right? And he pairs that with the great vision. It's a perfect scheme fit. There's just no way, in my opinion, for as much as I love Jaylen Warren, if you watch the channel, you know how much I love Jaylen Warren. I think we're going to love Caleb Johnson even more, man. He's going to be terrific. Got one from Kevin Reed. Says, how many sacks do you think Jack Sawyer will get this year as a rotational player? Less than 5? Well, I mean, he's going to be a fourth edge rusher. And I mean, Terrell Austin said in his post-draft press conference, he's being brought in as a run defender. He's got shorter arms for an edge rusher, and he doesn't have a lot of bend as a speed rusher either. So, he's got some physical limitations. I love his effort. I love his football character, and I think he's a pretty good run defender as well. Physical as hell. But, I don't want people to get their expectations too high for Jack Sawyer in year one. He's going to be the fourth edge rusher in the rotation. He's probably only going to be playing on early downs when he is in the game, kind of that Preston Smith role. And that's probably going to get you for sure less than 5 sacks. It might even end up being less than 3 sacks. Then we got one from $5 from Chris again. Says, guys, the Steelers drafted guys who fit the culture. I don't think Sanders ever would have been a good fit here since he is too selfish like Pickens. Well, I mean, we'll see about Pickens. We'll see if he matures a little bit here. I'm excited to see Pickens, but I tried telling you guys about Sanders. Steelers didn't want him. All right, there was a report today from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette that the Steelers would have taken Will Howard in round 6 over Shedeur Sanders. There's no way that meeting went well. There's just no way. If you're willing to take Will Howard in round 6 over Shedeur Sanders if he was still there, he was off your board, period. It wasn't a culture fit, plain and simply. Chris couldn't agree more. All right, man, we still got a couple more questions, so make sure you like the video if you haven't already. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. Liking the video is the quickest and easiest way to help us out, helps out the YouTube algorithm, gets this video in front of more people. Really do appreciate everybody and all the real ones that click that thumbs up icon. Going from my man Sheldon, says, if Rodgers signs, what is the % chance of us winning a playoff game? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of different factors that go into play there, Sheldon. How healthy are you heading into the playoffs? How healthy are you during the regular season? All that stuff. I think the best way I can answer this question for you, Sheldon, is the chances are higher than any other quarterback you could potentially start. More than Kirk Cousins, more than Derek Carr, more than Mason Rudolph, more than Will Howard, more than Carson Wentz. All right, Rodgers gives you the best chance of winning a playoff game, and whatever that percentage is, it's higher than any other option you got. So that's how I'll answer that question. Going from Steelers fan 2010, says, what do you think the ceiling could be for this offense? So two things are going to need to happen here for the offense to hit their ceiling. Number one, this young and talented but unproven offensive line needs to develop. And I completely understand why people don't trust it. Broderick's been terrible for 2 years at right tackle. Mason McCormick really struggled down the stretch last year at right guard in his rookie season. Fautano is even going to be able to stay healthy. Pat Meyer is still here as the offensive line coach. There's reasons to be pessimistic about this offensive line. But it is talented, and there's a lot of talented people in this group. And if all of them hit, then you could be looking at a top 10, maybe even top 5 offensive line in all of football with the pedigree these guys have. And if that's the case, and then you have Caleb Johnson and Jaylen Warren as a really good running back duo, you're going to have one of the best run games in the league. And then you pair that with a play-action game with Aaron Rodgers, who still has his arm strength, who still has his arm talent, throwing the deep threats like DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Calvin Austin III. The ceiling for this offense is top 10, a really good offense, if everything hits. But the question is Rodgers going to be any good? Is this offensive line going to develop? There's just a lot of questions. So I think this team has the ceiling of a top 10 offense, but we're just going to have to see how the rest of this kind of stuff plays out. Kermit is my God says, will we get a high comp pick for Pickens if he leaves? Depends on the contract that he gets, all right? So it also depends if the Steelers release him, which they probably won't. unless there's something really crazy that happens. But if he leaves in free agency and he's not released or anything like that, and he signs a large contract, the Steelers would get a high comp pick, probably a third-round pick for him. That's probably what I would say. So, yes, if he leaves, you do get a comp pick for him. Then we got Tavares, a man, says, is it concerning that T.J. Watt is not extended yet? No, not really. There's a lot of teams with players that need to get extended this offseason that haven't done it yet. A lot of times these things go all the way up into training camp. I mean, remember last year with Cam Hayward and Pat Freiermuth. I mean, it went all the way towards training camp. So I don't expect this thing to get done really anytime soon, if I'm being honest with you. TJ certainly seems like he wants 40 per year, and I don't blame him. So I think the Steelers are going to continue to try and get less than that. And then they'll eventually cave and pay what TJ wants closer to the season. So let's say you guys, let me know down there in the comments section, would you pay TJ Watt $40 million or more per season to keep him in Pittsburgh long term and make him a Steeler for life? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. And some really good questions today, guys. Hadn't done a mailbag in a long time. We've been kind of replacing these mailbags with mock drafts during draft season. So it's nice to get your questions here. We're going to be doing these all throughout the offseason, so make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Join us for Steelers Talk Live every Thursday where we film these mailbags and get your question on the show.